you ready to elevate your business game?
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
Kama wewe ni mfanyabiashara, huwezi kaa bure, unajipanga taratibu vile inavyofaa.
Join us each week as we dive into the stories of the world's most driven entrepreneurs.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
The Grind, where business meets brilliance. Tune in every Monday at 7:30 p.m. because your business
I hope this second week of the month of February is treating you well. It is Thursday and you're just in time for news now right here on TV47, the home of untold stories. I am George Maringa. Here are the highlights. Emotions run high at the Nakuru Law Courts after Justice Julius Nangea declined to issue further orders in the case of missing fisherman Brian Odhiambo. The judge dismissed a habeas corpus petition concerning Odhiambo's disappearance. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta calls for urgent peace talks between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, in response to the intensifying conflict in eastern DRC. Through his spokesperson Kanze Dena, Kenyatta, as the facilitator of the EAC-led Nairobi process, has emphasized the urgent need for renewed peace negotiations between the warring nations. Plus, The Maringa County government makes progress in tackling the persistent water scarcity issues that many villages in the county face, despite Maringa being a key water source for Nairobi. A lot is indeed making headlines today. Thank you for joining us on the socials. You can find us at TV47 News KE or at George Maringa _ use the hashtag #NewsNow. Now, the High Court, or rather chaos, erupted as emotions ran high at the Nakuru Law Courts after the court ruled not to give any further directions or orders in relation to the habeas corpus application in the case of Brian Odhiambo. In his ruling, Justice Julius Nangea indicated that the first and second respondents denied having this subject in their custody, thereby having no evidence on the matter. As Chichi Josephine now tells us in that story that will be coming to you in a short while. But still on matters judiciary and the legal circles, lawyers under the Young Lawyers for Justice Forum have told the executive to stop intimidating the judiciary and defying court orders. The lawyers, who held a meeting this morning to deliberate on the state of the nation's affairs, raised the alarm, arguing that the judiciary is under attack from what they termed as institutionalized impunity. The lawyers now want the judiciary to remain firm and uphold its independence as guaranteed by the Constitution in the wake of the security withdrawal for Chief Justice Martha Koome and the judiciary.
This is a moment, but I'm of course hoping. Kenya's judiciary, enshrined in Article 160 of the Constitution, is under unprecedented attack. The executive's wanton defiance of court orders, well-calculated attacks, intimidation and coercion of judges grossly violate the independence of the judiciary. These instances are well documented, and the information is publicly available for appreciation. Internationally, the actions by the Kenyan government breach the UN basic principles on the independence of the judiciary ratified in 1985 and Article 26 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. This has resulted in Kenya's regression into institutionalized impunity. We are hereby calling on the government of Kenya to respect the doctrine of separation of powers and, by extension, the independence of the judiciary. Further, we are calling on the judiciary to remain resolute in administration of justice.
Now, away from that, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, wants the law amended to oversee the Kenya Wildlife Service, Kenya Forest Service, and the Prisons Service. If the amendment contained in the Security Services Law Amendment Act is passed, it will strip the Internal Affairs Unit of its ability to investigate crimes committed by police officers. IPOA upholds that there is an overlap of mandate between IPOA and the Internal Affairs Unit.
We are conscious of the fact that both the police force itself, even the judiciary, IPOA and other institutions of government have some trust deficit, and we need to continue to work to ensure that we get the public's trust and confidence. On the issue that you have raised, I think we said very clearly, the Act mandates IPOA to investigate complaints against police officers or between police among themselves. For the one of the Kenya Wildlife Service, it's part of the legal amendments we are proposing to make sure that IPOA is able to also oversight Kenya Wildlife Service, Kenya Forestry Service, and even the prison. We are conscious of the fact that both the police force itself, even the judiciary, IPOA and other.
To our earlier story, where chaos erupted as emotions ran high at the Nakuru Law Courts after the court ruled not to give any further directions or orders in relation to the habeas corpus application in the case of Brian Odhiambo. In his ruling, Justice Julius Nangea indicated that the first and second respondents denied having the subject in their custody, thereby having no evidence on the matter.
The petitioners advocates extensively cross-examined the first and second respondents, but they maintain that the subject is not in their custody. It boggles the mind how the subject could just disappear into thin air at Lake Nakuru National Park and fail to get back home. As the first and second respondents have, however, denied having the subject in their custody, and there being no sufficient evidence to the contrary, no further orders or directions will be issued in relation to the habeas corpus application. Let the prosecution process that is underway take its course.
We believe that there's been a grave miscarriage of justice, that Justice Nangea erred in his decision. This decision sets a very bad precedent in our country, that police can arrest and even confirm, or security officers can arrest, perhaps torture, disappear and even kill, and then come to court and claim that the suspect ran away and that the court will side with them. That cannot be allowed to stand in Kenya today.
Inawezekano sana mnatudhulumu hapa, na hii ni kudhulumiwa. Hii inafaa iende hata kwa Chief Justice Koome aone. This is the impunity. Hii ni impunity ukweli. Kwa sababu ni kumaanisha kama una pesa una haki. Kabisa. Kwa sababu leo ingekuwa hii kesi ni ya mtu mwingine maarufu. Watu wangefukuzwa nje ifanywe hivyo chini ya maji. Hii ni impunity na tunasikitika sana leo sisi kama walala nje.
National Assembly Deputy Speaker Gladys Boss-Sholai has emphasized the importance of involving Kenyans in relation to the 2025 Finance Bill before its implementation in an effort to avoid the events witnessed last year. Speaking in Mombasa County, a section of MPs denied the Auditor General's claim that some constituencies have embezzled National Government Constituency Development Fund.
We were getting a brief on the budget policy statement of the government, the fiscal policy, the priorities of government, and because last year we had challenges with the finance bill, this time we want to be able to go in a very systematic manner and also to be able to communicate to the public as we go along, so that the public are with us as we are proceeding with the budget making process, so we don't have a situation where the public hear about the finance bill too late and they feel that they did not come and give their views.
First, it's to respond to the media reports that have gone in relation to Dagoretti South constituency and the Auditor General report. And it is to put the record straight, because as it has been reported, Kenyans might imagine that monies have been misappropriated in the Dagoretti South constituency. But that is not the case. The Auditor General report flagged that the Dagoretti South constituency has assets that have been built by NGCDF, of which the Dagoretti South constituency is not able to prove ownership. And the Auditor General said that NGCDF has an asset register in the Dagoretti South constituency of 85 million Kenya shillings, of which 60 million Kenya shillings of those assets we cannot prove ownership. And this is in relation to titles and title deeds.
The president of the Forum for Parliamentarians for Great Lakes Region Peace and Conflict Resolution, Kakai Bissau has urged East African leaders to join hands and help end the war in DR Congo. The president, who is also the Kiminini MP, noted that the situation in Congo should unite the East African countries to find a lasting solution to the conflict in the region. Speaking in Kiminini, the legislator said African countries in the region must avoid outside interference that brings conflict and war within them. He said he will also pursue a peace dialogue with other legislators from the region for the benefit of coexistence.
The Nairobi peace process, though temporarily sidelined, remains a critical framework for dialogue and conflict resolution in the Eastern DRC. The facilitator remains committed to finding pathways to peace in collaboration with the government of DRC, regional partners, and international stakeholders. However, the recent resurgence of hostilities highlights the urgent need for renewed political will, regional cooperation, and sustained support for peace efforts to avoid further deterioration of the security situation in DRC. The facilitator is of the strong opinion and belief.
Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja says the national government is jeopardizing the issuance of bursaries to ECDE students. He stated that the move by the controller of budget to cut down the bursary budget will leave many students without significant support in their education, ultimately leading to them lacking access to education. Now, he was speaking during the launch of the Nairobi Early Childhood Development ECD program. Stakeholders noted that a majority of people living in the slum areas are food insecure due to the hardships in Nairobi County.
We intend to scale up our school feeding initiative. We are now at 316,000 children daily. I have a target, I have a very ambitious goal, but I will not announce it. And I keep saying I will not announce it. And now I have only announced it in very private settings. I will not announce it to the media, but you will see it. But of course, part of it involves connecting and mapping out the informal schools to the nearest public school. Eventually, for them at lunchtime to all have this watch, to go have a meal and go back to their school, even as we increase the capacity of our public primary schools. That is, all these children are ours. They're all our children. They were there because of government misbehavior over the last decades. That in Nairobi we only built so little primary schools, And so we are still on course. Please pass the message. Of course, there are certain constraints of budget, etc. We're working out, looking for new partners. We're doing the mapping out. I think we should be done with the mapping out. For instance, if you go to, whichever school it is, Hospital Hill, which informal settlements or informal schools are near it, how many children are there, how do we provide that meal for them? At least we helped the up-bed school save some costs. I reduced the license from 10,000 to 3,000. I hope it is still 3,000, 1,000 per term, just 1,000, so that you can refocus that into other things.
Now to County 021, where in a significant development for residents, Maringa County government has made strides toward addressing the long-standing water scarcity issues faced by many villages. Despite the county being a key source of water for Nairobi, numerous communities in Maringa have struggled to access clean drinking water, of 10, often walking long distances to fetch water from rivers that are not sustainable for human consumption. And as our reporter Robert Gakure now tells us, this situation has hindered agricultural productivity in the region.
In a aim of achieving last-mile water connectivity across various villages in Maringa, the Maringa County government, in conjunction with Maringa Water Companies, has launched a comprehensive initiative that seeks to have clean, piped water directly to households, ensuring that residents no longer have to rely on unsafe water sources.
Tungependa kuhifadhi ili iweze kuendelea kuwapa watu huduma ambayo inahitajika ile ya maji, na sote tunajua kuwa maji ni ya maana na maji ni uhai.
Residents of Mananga village who have benefited from this initiative, expressing their joy and relief after the county government successfully connected their village to a reliable water supply for the first time in decades.
Nasema asanti kwa sababu tulikuwa na shida ya maji, tulikuwa tunaendea maji sini, moda na milima, na sasa tuko na maji.
Ukienda kwa firija ukakuta wazee wengine wako chafu sana, kwa sababu wanaoga kwa wiki mara moja ama wanaoga passport.
The impact of this development extends beyond just access to drinking water, as residents are now able to engage in horticultural farming, a venture that was previously limited due to water scarcity.
Tutalima, ng'ombe yetu itakunywa maji, na tena hata boga ilikuwa nasubua sisi tutapata karibu tu nyumbani sababu maji iko.
Robert Gakure, TV47, Murang'a County.
Let's get a Thank you for watching. As always, stay safe and be kind to one another. I'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.